Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So Donald Trump has a record high lead yet again. How many of these videos have we made where Donald Trump expands his lead to record highs? The debate is tomorrow night, and it's really the JV squad debate because Donald Trump is not going to be there. We talked about this last video. He's going to do a forum type thing with Tucker Carlson. But Ron DeSantis and company, they are way, way down there. And Donald Trump has now a 41.3% lead over the second place, probably soon to be third place eventually, challenger, Ron DeSantis, who's below 15% and has lost over half of his support within the past 4.5 months. It's brutal, completely insane when you take the big picture into account. But not only that, because the primary is only part of the equation. You get through the primary, you don't win the general election, you're not going to become president. Obviously, a good showing in the primary shows that your party is relatively unified behind one candidate. But like I said, it's not the full type of picture. When you look at the full picture against Biden, Donald Trump is neck and neck. Donald Trump is within the margin of error. Not only that, he's in a virtual tie, not just for the Electoral College, but for the popular vote. Some polls have Trump ahead. Some polls have him tied. Few polls have Biden leading by just 1 point or 2 or 3. He could be leading by 5 and Trump could still win in the Electoral College. We saw that in 2020 when the breaking point was like 4.2% in the popular vote or so. And you're looking at the trend in some of these states that we're seeing. Biden needs to win this popular vote by 5 points or more in order to win re-election. But as of right now, he's polling neck and neck with Trump. And CNN, of all people, reluctantly acknowledging the truth of the matter. Watch this clip right here. We're going to watch this. We're going to roll it because CNN is in total cope mode. Take a listen.
So these are 3 polls that were out over the last week. Look at these leads for Donald Trump. He's at 62% in the CBS News YouGov poll, 57% in Quinnipiac University, 53% in the Fox News poll. Look at where DeSantis is in all these polls. Look how far back he is. He doesn't crack 20% in any of them. So in Iowa, you have that 20-plus point lead for Donald Trump. That's actually smaller than the lead we see nationally, where we see these leads of 35, 40, near 50 points in this particular case.
So you're looking at this. They're admitting the truth. They're admitting, reluctantly so, that Donald Trump is unbeatable in the primary. But then on top of that, they realize the truth about the general election and their golden boy, Joe Biden, and how he may be cooked against Donald Trump, despite Donald Trump being indicted 4 times. It hasn't really moved the needle. His poll numbers have gone up in the primary, and they really haven't moved in the general election, despite a lot of the media coverage being 100% negative and him kind of staying out of the spotlight outside of Truth Social, I guess, and not really defending himself on the national stage quite yet. But take a listen to this part of the clip.
Of course, the primary is one thing. If Trump wins the primary, can he go on and win the general election? And we've had 3 polls that have come out over the last week here. And I want you to take a look at how close this race is at this particular point. Granted, the general election is over a year away. The largest lead for Joe Biden is just 3 points within the margin of error. No clear leader. If you go back at where we were at this point 4 years ago, Joe Biden's lead was high single digits to low double digits. This is significantly closer than where we were 4 years ago. So this idea that Donald Trump can't win the general election, I want you to lose that idea. This race is very, very close, and Donald Trump is polling better right now than basically at any point during the entire 2020 cycle.
After 4 indictments.
After 4 indictments. It just doesn't really seem to matter.
And this is true, because people don't buy this nonsense. Biden is going out there acting like a third world dictator, trying to weaponize the justice system against Donald Trump for stuff that's obviously bogus to anybody with half of a brain. And now it seems like the people are waking up. It is true. Biden's an incumbent president. And he was not an incumbent president, but he was polling, like he says in the video. This guy said, close to, high single digits to even double digits at some point in 2019, 2020 against Donald Trump. Granted, there was a polling error. Trump was down in the aggregate, I think, by over 7 points back in 2020. In November, before the election, he ended up losing the popular vote by just 4 and change. But still, it doesn't matter. You look at the national popular vote for the midterms even, where we did fall short in many places, and the polls did overestimate Republicans in many places, where they expected Trump's base to turn out when they really didn't in many certain instances. And still, the national polls underestimated Republicans by a little bit. And it's very possible that you're seeing the same thing. But let's just take the polls at face value. Donald Trump has that low propensity voter base that usually doesn't come out. But let's say they're being factored into the polls. Trump and Biden being neck and neck in the national popular vote is not a good thing for Joe Biden whatsoever. Anybody saying that it is in monumental cope mode, because they are. And you're looking at this election. Let's look at the electoral map, because this was what happened in 2020, where the popular vote was favoring Biden by 4.5 points. Let's say that comes back to D+3 even. You're going to see flips in Nevada, possibly in, obviously, Wisconsin would be another one, and Pennsylvania. That would be enough to get Donald Trump to 270 electoral votes and grant him the presidency for another term. He would be the 45th and 47th president. He would be the first president to serve 2 non-contiguous terms since Grover Cleveland, way, way back in the day, over 100 years ago. So that would be big-time stuff right there. And then you're talking about maybe Arizona, Georgia. Those states are competitive. If the popular vote is really Biden plus 0.5, yeah, Trump probably does go out there and pick off Georgia again. He probably does go out there and retake Arizona. He possibly even adds Michigan to his column, which would give him a larger electoral college victory than he had in the 2016 election. And this is very true. Something people don't understand about Donald Trump's electability. Is Trump guaranteed to win? No. But does Trump have a shot? Yes. And you look at somebody like DeSantis, dude's lost over half of his support since the beginning of April. And his campaign is extremely incompetent and terminally online. Do you think that's going to be a winning strategy against Biden? Do you think any of these other people have a shot against Biden? Absolutely not. Their campaigns would fail. They'd fall flat on their face. They'd be dead on arrival. They'd be Mitt Romney on steroids, quite frankly. And they would make Biden a 2-term president. Donald Trump will give you a chance to win. This is true. And you could look through the objective metrics that we can look at to gauge who's electable or viable. Trump's favorables are higher than they were at this point in 2016 when he won. And that's with the party attacking him. That's with a divided party. Maybe there is some temporary fatigue that's holding Trump back. But Biden's favorables are lower than Hillary Clinton's were. We hear Hillary was the worst candidate ever. Of course, Trump could beat her and only her. Well, Biden's favorables are lower. His favorability rating's lower. His job approval rating's lower than 42%, which is where Hillary's favorables were. Both of them are embroiled in some sort of authentic, real scandal, which actually could move the needle. But either way, this is despite Biden being the face of his party. He has a similar lead in the primary to what Trump has in the Republican primary. And then DeSantis' favorables are in free fall. The more people have gotten to know him, the worse his net favorable rating has gotten. In some polls, he's lower than Trump, especially among independent voters, which the DeSantis campaign loves to cling to this notion, oh, well, he'll win all the independents, despite only getting 14% of Republicans on his side as of right now. On top of that, the third-party vote share is likely going to be higher than it was in 2020. You see Joe Manchin potentially running Larry Hogan, one of those two on the no labels, Cornel West running on the Green Party ticket. I don't know who's going to run on the Libertarian side of things, but either way, those will all help Donald Trump, especially in states like Georgia, Arizona, possibly Michigan as well. It opens up the electoral map a little bit more than we initially thought it'd be open. And on top of that, it's like, yeah, keep believing that without any evidence, Biden's going to destroy Trump, but DeSantis is somehow electable when there's zero legitimate reasons other than my feelings that really says that that's the case. My feelings, guys. Whatever. Donald Trump is in the driver's seat. I'm not saying he's guaranteed victory, but he gives you a great chance. And this is despite them throwing the book at him, throwing everything they have at him. It's not making up any sort of difference here. And as a result, Donald Trump is the favorite as of right now. And even CNN, of all people, are admitting this. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.